3rd. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. By Safeco Insurance, find a local agent at safeco.com. Do more. And by your local sports stores. A beautiful day in St. Pete. The Mariners wrapping up the series and the road trip here inside Tropicana Field. Paxton versus Eovaldi. Well, time now to take a look at T-Mobile. Hats off for heroes. And today we focus in on maybe the best hitter of all time. The one and only Ted Williams, served in both the Navy and Marines during World War II and the Korean War. The lifetime average, Mike, is a little bit of a joke.
344. Well, you and I were laughing about it earlier today, just seeing it again. But you're right, probably the best hitter of all time.
Especially when you consider he missed 1943, 44, and 45 because of military duty. And right here inside of Tropicana Field is the Ted Williams Museum and Hitters Hall of Fame. Ted used to live in a few counties north of where we are here in St. Petersburg, and there was once a museum there for him, which has since moved into Tropicana Field. Just incredible, the career of Ted Williams, one of the all-time best. And you look at his numbers, they are second to none. It's a pretty cool museum they have here inside the ballpark. A good tribute to the Splendid Splinter. Of course, when you think about Ted Williams, you think about that famous red seat where that long home run landed at Fenway Park, and it is here inside of Tropicana Field at the Ted Williams Museum. And we've got the first pitch, Mariners and the Rays, coming up right after this. All set for baseball inside Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Mariners and the Rays. A couple of hard-throwing starting pitchers, James Paxton, Nathan Eovaldi, as they're making their way inside the ballpark for Sunday baseball. Happy you could join us, Aaron Goldsmith and Mike Flowers, our entire Root Sports crew, as D. Gordon leads things off for the Mariners. First pitch at 97 miles an hour, Mike, which we've seen plenty of that on both sides today.
We will. His average fastball this year, 96 miles an hour, but he will touch 98, 99. This again his third start on the year.
Eovaldi, 28 years old, a Houston native, coming off of his second Tommy John surgery. He had his first his junior year in high school when he was 17 years old. Floating foul. Duffy, the third baseman, running out of room. Almost makes the catch. He's still alive, still 0-2. the rest of our Jack-in-the-Box Mariners starting lineup.
Well, it's good to have D back in the lineup. Did not play in yesterday's game. Came in late as a defensive replacement. Gene Segura hitting second, 342 average. That is second in the American League. Cleanup hitter Nelson Cruz, his 12th home run in yesterday's ball game. And Denard Span hitting 6, was 2 for 4 in yesterday's game, getting another start against his former team. That will be the challenge. That last pitch, 97, just above the top of the strike zone. He will try to get the hitters to chase the good fastball up there.
Now for Eovaldi, making just his 3rd start since recovering from Tommy John. His first start was on the road in Oakland. He went 6 no-hit innings. Had to be lifted because of the pitch count. At that point he went 70 pitches over 6 innings. His last time out, which was also on the road against the Nationals, giving up 4 hits, 4 runs over 5. So he's making his Tropicana Field debut.
86 pitches in that outing, so probably will be over 90 today. D. Gordon working on his pitch count right now. This next pitch will be 7 to D.
Another 1-2. Loop to Malik Smith in center field. Handles it easily for out number 1. It's funny when you talk about Eovaldi as we take a look at the defense behind him.
Johnny Field will be in right field. We've seen him in left, but playing right field. Carlos Gomez out of the lineup today. Daniel Robertson will be at shortstop, and Wilson Ramos, the veteran, will do the catching.
And how many times when you hear a manager talk about a pitcher coming off of injury and wanting to get them stretched out, you kind of feel like that number is normally around 80 pitches or so, 90 pitches. You'd like to see them be able to throw that in their first start back from injury. Well, the Rays rotation being what it is, 70 pitches in his debut was plenty, because
they'll take it.
They will definitely take it.
Yeah.
It was basically him or an opener, or Snell or Archer at the time.
We've talked about it in this series, 4-game series, starting a couple of relievers against the Mariners and then bringing the starter in.
Mariners falling 7-3 yesterday after taking the first 2 games of the series. Segura had 2 balls and a strike. Now, Gene has just simply been one of the hottest hitters in the game. It feels like all season, but especially since the start of May, and even more so recently. Bites off a tough pitch.
When you mentioned Eovaldi with the 2 surgeries, they had Tommy John surgeries, and thought he was going to be on the club at the start of the year, but loose bodies in the elbow, had to go in and get surgery. That's the reason why this is just his 3rd start.
Sounds pleasant. Another foul ball. I mentioned that his first Tommy John surgery was his junior year in high school. What I just can't believe, although he told us this, his senior year he did not miss a start. He had Tommy John his junior year, and he pitched all of his senior year. Like he got in on the hands a little bit out to left. Ref Snyder. 2 outs. It's funny how far Tommy John surgery has come in terms of being commonplace. Eovaldi's saying that when he was a junior and he had to get Tommy John, he really wasn't familiar with what Tommy John was. I feel like even every middle school pitcher now knows what Tommy John is. This is as commonplace as balls and strikes.
I think for young men that are sophomores, juniors, probably feel that they're invincible at that point. Not worried too much about it. Had to be a bit of a shock for him. I was thinking, Aaron, after a couple of Tommy John surgeries, all of a sudden you're coming into camp, you're going to get a chance to pitch, and then right before spring training is over, you're going in and get another surgery to clean up your elbow. That'd be a bit deflating for him.
2 outs, nobody on for Mitch Haniger.
He's given up just 4 hits in the 11 innings that he has worked so far. .98 mile-an-hour strike, 1-2.
Kevin Cash earlier today, the manager for the Rays, was praising Mitch Haniger for his ability to hit the ball the opposite way. Gets tied up on this. Eovaldi goes 1-2-3, strikes out Haniger to end the top of the first. We go to the home half. James Paxton about to climb the mound for the Mariners. Now, what else can James Paxton do, making his second start of this road trip, coming off the beauty in Houston, facing off against this Tampa Bay's starting lineup?
The Rays have struggled to score runs this year, but they are fourth in the American League in hitting. Daniel Robertson, good-looking young player for them, will lead things off. Matt Duffy hitting third. Good series for him, 6 for 12 against the Mariners, including a double yesterday. Jake Bauers hitting fifth in the lineup, picked up his first major league hit in yesterday's game. For Paxton, a 2.95 ERA, looking for his 6th win in the year. 101 strikeouts, over 25 walks. Opponents hitting 201 against him.
Fires home a first pitch strike to begin the bottom of the first. Now for Paxton, he made his major league debut against the Tampa Bay Rays. That was back in 2013 at Safeco Field. A quality start in his first big league start.
Mentioned in the open with James how well he has been pitching lately. His last 8 starts, he is 4-0, a 1.75 ERA. And one of the common things in the first inning, if you're seeing 94, 95, that typically means he's going to have a pretty good outing. His fastball so far at 94, average this year at 95 miles an hour.
Up the middle, these scampers over, long throw, stretch at first base. Nicely done by Ryan Healy for round number 1.
Nice to have your defense help you out. Take a look at the defense for the Mariners. Mitch Haniger will move from right field over to center field. Heredia getting the afternoon off. D. Gordon back in the lineup, playing second base. Fine play right there. Mike Zunino will do the catching.
One up, one down here is C.J. Cron. Just hit his 14th home run of the season. Swings through a first pitch heater. Oh, 2. Now right there, but ruled ball 1 ball and 2 strikes to Cron.
That was the knuckle curve from James. He also has a slider that he will use.
just continues to build on his all-star resume this year. Here's 1-2.
Good fastball at 96. Just missing the inside corner.
Strike 3 called. He rings him up at 96. First punch out on the day for James Paxton.
Changing eye levels. The last fastball at top of the zone, and that one right at the knees.
Now, we have encouraged you to chime in, ask your questions using the hashtag AskRoot. And the other day, Amanda was asking about the card that Denard Span was reading in the outfield just a moment ago. Mike, we saw Mitch Haniger in center field reading something similar.
All the outfielders have the same card, and it basically is letting them know what the defense alignment is going to be. Chris Prieto has put those things together for them, so when they go through the scouting report, positioning is a real key in today's game, and that just helps them out. But you will see him look at it typically for every hitter.
0-1 to Duffy. Makes it 0-2. Something new the Mariners are doing this year. Emmanuel Cifuentes, who is the Mariners video coordinator, he is the man who types those up for each series, bought the laminating machine.
It's interesting when you see that, because at times you'll have to change things up, whether it's because of the pitcher or what the score of the game is, and different things that you want to change up. So it's Chris Prieto's in the dugout. It's funny to watch him try to position these guys now, because they're so used to looking at that card, where you used to always look in the dugout, and it takes a loud whistle to get their attention from time to time. They make it work.
Ball and 2 strikes to Duffy. Duffy batting nearly .320 entering today. Weak wave at a 97. Back-to-back strikeouts for Paxton. A flawless first inning. Mariners score off with the Red Sox. The first 10,000 dads will receive a one-of-a-kind Mariners barbecue glove, courtesy of our friends at EQC. Take that out to the ball game. Head on over to Mariners.com to pick up your tickets. Now, there's been a change for the Rays. Early change. Joey Wendell has taken over at shortstop for Daniel Robertson. Robertson was looking like he was in some pretty great discomfort.
Robertson trying to beat an infield hit out. It was a fine play by D. Gordon, and you could see him really slow down right there. So something grabbed him. Now out of the ball game.
First pitch strike to Nelson Cruz. Now Nelly yesterday, his 12th home run of the season. Went the opposite way out to right. This is shot out left center field. Back-to-back days. Nelson Cruz, his 13th, gives the Mariners an early 1-0 lead.
That left the ballpark in a hurry. Looked like it was a cut fastball. Eovaldi, the good fastball at 97, 98. That was a cut fastball, I think, at 92 miles an hour. Out over the plate, and it is right on the barrel. Nelson has been hot.
.112 miles an hour off the bat.
Of course.
Anything less would be disappointing. Here's Seager. Once at a first pitch strike. Oh, this is, I think, even more impressive than that exit velocity, Mike. If you look at a timeline that starts in 2014 for Nelson Cruz, that was his 9th home run since 2014 in this ballpark, the most of any visiting player. Now, that 1 year in 14, he was in the division with the Baltimore Orioles. Yeah. But other than that, he has been out of the division, of course, and you think about all the sluggers in the East since then.
Exactly.
And Cruz has the most home runs.
That is amazing. Consider how many times New York, Boston, even Toronto, and some of the sluggers that they had.
Like past Pearson, Donaldson. Those were the two guys who he was tied at with 8. Now Seager had 3 balls and 1 strike. Now full count.
Kyle, 11 home runs, 39 RBIs. Get him to pick up an RBI today, Aaron. Get him to 40.
Some Seager believers in the ballpark.
There you go. Segura has 40 RBIs, and Mitch Haniger, 3rd in the American League with 47. Kyle drives in a run today. They would be the only team with 3 players with 40 RBIs or more.
They've been driving the train all year, those guys. Snyder, the left fielder, over by the mound, lays out. Good effort. Slow to get up.
Couldn't tell if he caught the corner of the mound. He's looking over at it right now. Had to run a long way. What an effort. His knee actually hits the corner of the mound, and then the ball hits him in the head.
Again, the 3-2. Another foul ball.
In the first inning, D. Gordon ended up seeing 7 or 8 pitches, and Kyle now has seen 8. It'll be the 9th pitch of this at bat. Next pitch to him will be 10. That's steak dinner. Not that said you're about that. Used to be hitting coaches, if you saw 10 or more pitches, would entice you with a steak dinner.
I'd get pretty good at fouling off pitches if that was the case, Mike. I
believe that.
I would lead the league.
Kyle even laughing a little bit. Pretty good battle. Say you would lead the league.
Even if a hit was there, I'd just fight that away. Foul it off. Time called. Pitch number 11 to Seager. Out to center. Alex Smith back on the track. All in. Deep fly ball out. One down. Now for Nathan Eovaldi, we have not seen him much over the course of his career. He's pitched with the Dodgers, the Marlins, the Yankees, and now the Rays. His second career start against the Mariners came at Safeco Field, and it was just the other day, Mike, where we celebrated the anniversary of the Mariners' combined no-hitter against the Dodgers, and Eovaldi was the opposing pitcher that day.
Did not remember that.
And steps in Art Span. What's more, as they appealed, he does not go. The closest thing that the Dodgers got to a hit that day was on a ball that bounced out to Brendan Ryan, and the runner nearly was safe at first base, and that runner, that hitter, was Dee Gordon. We were watching the tape of it online yesterday, and it was very close at first. And Dee was,
I'm sure it was.
Dee was very convinced that he was safe. I mean, you think about how quick Brendan Ryan's hands were and how quickly he got rid of that ball, but also how fast Dee Gordon is. That's a good battle. But Eovaldi pitched very well that day. Went 6 scoreless against the Mariners. That was back June 8th of 2012. Two and two. The pitchers, if you don't remember, for the Mariners, Kevin Millwood started the game and then was injured. He went 6 scoreless, 6 hitless innings. Charlie Furbush, then Stephen Pryor, who ended up getting the win. Lucas Lidke, Brandon League, and Tom Helmson got the save. Fouled back. Up hit the ground. Ramos doing the catching. At the time, I believe that was only the 10th combined no-hitter in baseball history, making it even more rare and significantly more rare than a perfect game. One hop. Arroyo plays it nicely at second base, 2 outs. We saw Arroyo at third the other day, today at second. Two outs and back of the Cruz home run. Here is Healy. 9 home runs this year. Dodgers had a combined no-hitter this season. One of 3 no-hitters in the majors this year. Sean Manaea the first, of course, Paxton, and then the combined no-hitter. Still a long way to go for a 4th no-hitter this season in the majors, but of the 3 no-hitters that we have seen, they have been in different countries. Manaea's in Oakland, the combined no-hitter in Mexico, and of course Paxton's in Toronto. I don't know if there are any more international games scheduled this year. And Red Sox and Yankees next year in London. Mariners in Japan next year to begin things.
Eovaldi at 40 pitches. That's good news for the Mariners. And this is just his 3rd start of the year. His last outing against the Nationals threw 86 pitches. His pitch count is going to be right around 90.
Healy down on strikes. 2nd strikeout for Nathan Eovaldi, who gives up home run number 13 from Nelson Cruz. Paxton pitching with the lead now. Let's see if he squares this up.
92-mile-an-hour cut fastball right in the middle of the plate. Seeing it in slow motion like that, the size of the barrel on the bat looks like one of those plastic little kids' bats.
Yeah, like in my backyard.
Yeah, exactly.
There's Ramos on the first pitch. It's a nice bounce there for Segura. 1 pitch and 1 out.
James with a couple of strikeouts in the first inning.
Boy, and the velocity came to play early for James today, as it normally does. It's on 96, 97 in that first inning. Here's Jake Bauers, 2 for 12 to begin his major league career. Just picked up his first big league hit yesterday. We keep running into the Bauers family everywhere we go, Mike.
Yeah, yesterday, if you were watching the game, Jake Bauers and Carlos Gomez, who was in right field, Bauers was playing first base. Gomez made a catch over by the bullpen for the Rays. They had quite a collision. Carlos Gomez not in the lineup today, but I saw Jake's mom this morning in the lobby of the hotel, and I asked her how Jake was feeling, if he was okay, and she said he was okay, just a little bit sore.
I would say so.
Jake picked up his first major league hit yesterday.
Swing and a miss for
Good
strike
curveball.
3. Third strikeout for Paxton.
Well, there's one of the reasons why Gomez is not in the lineup. Great concentration to make this catch, and Bauers, the first baseman, they were both looking up. Bauers was saying after the game that he didn't want to take his eye off the ball. It didn't appear that either one of them were calling it, but he didn't want to take his eye off the ball because of the ceiling here. Sometimes it's difficult to pick the ball back up when it's in the air. So they had that collision. Both of them able to walk back to the dugout.
2 outs for Christian Arroyo, second baseman for the Rays. Just gets a piece, fouls it back, 1-1. Slam foul, Paxton ahead 1-2.
Good fastball at 95 miles an hour in the first. He topped out at 96. Valdi so far is hit 98.
Back to the curve, 2-2.
We'll see that with James. It's a knuckle curveball, and typically with 2 strikes, 0-2, 1-2, he will try to bounce it. The hitter to try and get him to chase it. There it is again.
Just absolutely handcuffed. No chance. 4 strikeouts for James Paxton through 2 perfect innings. know, Mike, right near the Mariners Hotel is the St. Petersburg Museum of History, and inside they have what is known as Little Cooperstown. They have nearly 5,000 autographed baseballs. The largest collection, as you might imagine. There's been Gamble leading things off. You know,
we've been coming to Tampa for a long time.
It did not appear new to me, although I must say I had no idea until just a couple of days ago.
Well, it was nice for Kevin Boach and John Jacobson to get up early and shoot that.
And they're the best.
Yep. Did a nice job. Another look at it.
Saw a number of Mariners autographs in there, including Jay Buhner. They have a number of very notable Hall of Famers, including Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle. In fact, the entire collection was donated by a collector who, way back when, was a spring training bat boy for the Yankees. And as the story goes, he was holding a baseball, just holding a baseball like any bat boy would do, when Mickey Mantle walked right over to him without saying a word, took the baseball out of his hand, signed it, and gave it back to him. And that was his first autographed baseball, was Mickey Mantle.
And he became a collector after that?
Yes.
I can understand why.
Full count to Gamble beginning the third.
Typically Ben will be in left field, but playing right field this afternoon.
Still a full count. Next pitch, number 50 for Eovaldi, his third start since coming back from his second Tommy John. And his most recent start getting up to 86 pitches.
Another long at bat. Eovaldi has had at least one hitter in each of the first 3 innings work on his pitch count. Last inning it was Kyle Seager. Saw over 10 pitches in his at bat. This will be the 9th here to Ben.
Smith, Refsnyder slides, and Ron Refsnyder takes it off the carpet, makes the catch.
Ben had a chance to pick up a base hit. Last inning, Refsnyder was diving in foul territory, ended up hitting his knee on the mound. No problem there.
1 out, nobody on for Mike Zunino.
In that collection, did you find Stan Musial?
As it turns out, Mike, I did. In fact, he had his own display case for Stan the Man. Huh, funny how that works. There weren't many of those. 0-2. 99 that time.
99 right at the top of the strike zone. Tough to catch up to.
They also had a wall of signed baseballs from the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, the league of their own.
Right.
And I couldn't help but notice that the vast majority of those autographs were far more legible than those of their male counterparts. Strike 3 called. Now number 2.
Again, a couple of fastballs right at the top of the strike zone. That one right at the knees. He is really rushing it up there. This inning, he's been 98, 99 miles an hour.
Ball 1 to D. And we find out that Daniel Robertson leaving today's game because of left hamstring tightness. Felt that running to first base on a ball he put in play. Joey Wendell has taken over at short for him. We talked yesterday about Dee Gordon going to the Negro League Museum in Kansas City. They had a whole display of Negro League autographed baseballs there yesterday, including one from Satchel Paige, which was pretty awesome. Jammed him. This floats foul.
Dee did not start in yesterday's game. Came into the game a little bit later, play some defense.
A couple of former teammates facing each other, still 2-2. Playing a high chop, has to get rid of it quickly, and he does. Side retired in order for the second time in 3 innings by Nathan Eovaldi. Safeco.com. Do more. And by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 191, investing in our future. We'll look at the Ted Williams Museum inside Tropicana Field. Ted, before his passing back in 2002, lived a few counties north of where we are here in St. Pete. They eventually made a museum for him there and moved that museum here inside Tropicana Field.
Well, James Paxton has 4 strikeouts through the first 2 innings. His fastball's been 94 to 96 today. And he has a pretty good knuckle curve. Haven't seen the slider much. One of the things we've seen from him as the game moves forward, his fastball, the velocity jumps up, so I expect we'll see 97, 98 from him today.
Line drive, left field, and a fair ball. Automatic double for Johnny Fields. Leadoff 2-base hit. Well, sign up your little sluggers for free Mariners Kids Club at mariners.com/kids. Then stop by the Mariners Kids Club kiosk the next time you're at the game. You get their free drawstring bag, wiffle ball, official badge, and much more. You can join at mariners.com/kids club.
The leadoff double. Kyle Seager looks like he's going to play even with the bag.
Oh, and 1 to Ref Snyder. Batting just over 200 entering today.
James has been working ahead, 8 batters, 7 first pitch strikes for him today.
Into third base, 1 out, a runner 90 feet from home. That's a tying run. One outfield at third from Alex Smith, who came an inch shy of his first home run of the season in yesterday's game. In fact, it was ruled a home run until it was overturned. Just off the top of the yellow pad in right field. Strike one. Another first pitch strike.
Healy and Seager both playing in. Segura, D. Gordon playing back. Smith is 7 for 11 in this series. James trying to pick up his 5th strikeout.
Alex has that average up to 281. The 1-1. D charging. Only played first base. 2 outs. Tied game. Johnny Field scores. That leadoff double comes around.
Only play the D has. Gets rid of it in a hurry. Smith can get down the line.
Two outs to run in. Here is Joey Wendell, his first time up after coming off the bench and taking over for Daniel Robertson, who had to leave because of a hamstring issue. Rare time where Paxton has fallen behind 2-0. It was Paxton who began this road trip for the Mariners, now dueling Dallas Keuchel in Houston. First game of that 2-game set. He pitched into the 8th. Pinpoint with 97, 2-2.
Back-to-back pitches with the fastball.
Paxton just a run over 7 2/3 to begin this road trip. 6 strikeouts against the Astros. And he gets Wendell. Cutting right through 97. 5 strikeouts through 3 innings for James Paxton. We are tied. Well, the Orchid card is all you need to ride the Sounder train, link line, rail, buses, ferries, and streetcars. Learn more at getorchismart.com. There's something about that rate tank that happened a few years ago. Don't quite remember it. A little foggy on the details. It involved Nelson Cruz. Here's Segura. Segura, Haniger, and Cruz due up here in the fourth for the Mariners. Arroyo, the second baseman, in stride for out number one. Here's Haniger.
I thought this was going to be a great pitching matchup, and it looks like it's going to be. James a little bit of an advantage. His pitch count in better shape.
Barnes over on the track with a foul ball. Mike, in today's era of velocity, suppose having two starting pitchers whose average fastball is, let's say, in the neighborhood of 96, touching 99, isn't the most rare of things. You don't see it every day. But if you go back, let's talk late 90s, mid 90s, something like that. Would that have, I feel like that would have happened very often? I guess when you think about these hitters, this is kind of like another day in the office when you see a guy with this kind of velocity, right?
Well, they see the velocity probably close to every day when you talk about the guys basically coming out of the bullpen. But to see as starters and that you're going to have to deal with that for 5 to 8 innings, depending, I think is a little bit unusual.
Especially on both sides.
Yeah. Just trying to think about it. You had Randy, of course.
Sure.
Clemens. But there weren't, I think, as many starters that were throwing in the mid to upper 90s, so it was hard to get those matchups to even come together. You know what I mean? Just pitching on different days.
Well, other thing too, and that's a good example of a potential matchup from back in the day. You're talking about two of the most dominant in baseball history Cy Young Award winners, and today we're talking about James Paxton, who's this year trying to get to his first All-Star game, and Nathan Eovaldi, who has been injured and has trying to reestablish himself as kind of an every 5 days guy in the rotation, and they're throwing with that kind of velocity.
Well, to your point, when I started thinking about, that was a foul ball, when I started to think about it, Randy, and then of course Clemens and Pedro was there. That at one point he could rush it up there too, and probably Schilling. Short list.
Payoff to Haniger. Fouls it away. We talked about Seager, the 11 pitch at bat in the second. For Gamble, the 9 pitch at bat. One shy of a steak dinner. Haniger, next pitch will be number 8.
D. Gordon in the first inning. Saw a number of pitches. It's all good news for the Mariners. He has tremendous stuff today. Great life on his fastball. He's topped out at 99. His cutter is 92 to 94. Slider split to go with that.
Pitch number 9 to Haniger. In play, out to Wendell, the new shortstop. 2 outs. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. Two ground ball outs. Here's Nelson Cruz, who put the Mariners on the board first with his 13th home run. '99 inside corner, strike 1. Back to the home run by Nelson Cruz.
If you missed it, it was on a cut fastball at 92, and he barreled it up. Knew it right away.
Fouls off this pitch, 1-2. Fouls off 99. Again. Now Valdi now approaching 80 pitches with 2 outs in the 4th. Another 1-2.
When we're talking about velocity, it amazes me that you can lay off of a slider that's pushing 90 just off the plate when you've already seen 99 a number of times.
Jammed him off the hands. Ref Snyder covering some ground. Makes the catch. Eovaldi has faced the minimum now 3 times in the first 4 innings. We're all even at 1. You take your eyes off the road. If you're on the road, off the phone, let's reach our target zero goal together. 0 traffic deaths in your family, 0 traffic deaths in our state. Well, if you missed it just a few moments ago, Mike and I were talking about hard-throwing starting pitchers and how rare it might have been back in the day to have 2 guys who are averaging 96+ miles an hour on their fastball, like Eovaldi and Paxton are. And we see this ball out to right field. Gamble, gone. Crone homers again against the Mariners, his 15th. And the Rays have a 2-1 lead.
Mentioned it at the start of the game how aggressive they have been, and that was a first pitch fastball. Mike set up on the outer half of the plate, probably more middle in, and was able to get the barrel to it.
That brings up Matt Duffy. We go back to the Ford Sports Desk. We bring in Bill Kruger. Bill, what do you remember? What are your thoughts on how rare something like this, what we're seeing today, might have been years ago?
Bill, what would you say as far about, I guess, just these guys and maintenance, and we've talked about Evaldi and already having 2 surgeries with Tommy John and how that's evolved too.
There's Jake Bauers with the infield drawn in. It's kind of funny when you think about it, Bill. There's this young man in St. Louis named Jordan Hicks who has hit 105 miles an hour a number of times this year. And other than him, though, it kind of feels as though velocity has reached its max, doesn't it? As this ball just gets in fair. Duffy scores. And Bauers drives in his first run in the big leagues. It's now 3-1 Tampa Bay. Doesn't it kind of feel like we have maxed out what the human body can do in terms of velocity, other than maybe what we're seeing from the 105-mile-an-hour fastball in St. Louis? Well, Bill, we appreciate your thoughts as always. We'll catch up with you more on Mariners postgame presented by Alaska Airlines. As now Mike Zunino comes out for a chat.
Now for James. He's given up 4 hits in the ballgame, all of them for extra bases, home run, and then 3 doubles.
To right field, slicing, and foul ball. And how rare it is to see 3 runs on the board when Paxton is pitching. This is only the 2nd time since April the 21st where he has given up more than 2 runs in a start.
And he has good stuff today. His fastball is topped out at 97. Seen the good curveball from him.
Segura going to third, tag applied, and they got him by plenty. Bauers is out at third. 2 outs.
Heads up play. Mariners taking advantage of a base running mistake. Bauers, young player, it's a little bit too aggressive.
And steps Johnny Field.
Field doubled his first time up. It was on a slider, hit it down in the left field corner. Eventually scored the Rays' first run.
Mike, when we see something like that, and we see it over the course of the season, a ground ball to the runner's right at second base, more times than not, do you feel like, is that just a mental lapse, or are they just being ultra aggressive, hoping that that sneaks into the outfield?
I think what happens with it most of the time is, yes, the mental lapse will happen from time to time, but I think they lose track of either where they're at or where the shortstop is at, and sometimes they think that that has a chance to be a hit, and they're just trying to get a good jump, and once you take that first, second step, it's over. You may as well just keep running. But I think they lose track of the shortstop more times than not, or where they're at now. Big that secondary lead actually is, and what's happening, because they obviously can't see the shortstop, and the shortstop will move around from time to time. So that's the reason why. And you're right, we will see it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
It happens
either by a Mariner or an opposing runner.
Even at this level, but I think that there's a lot of those things, and you know, I think sometimes though mentally you're just, you know, you make a mistake.
Right. Bradford getting loose in the Mariners bullpen. Strike 3 call. 96 on the inside corner. Field is caught looking. 6 strikeouts now for James Paxton. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Steel, to find your local Steel dealer, visit steeldealers.com. Oh, good day to be out on the beach. Final day for us here at St. Pete, coming back home tonight. Homestand begins tomorrow. 7 days at Safeco Field. 3 against the Angels, 4 against the Red Sox. First pitch gets away from Eovaldi at 96 for ball 1. Seager, Span, and Healy due up. Seager, the 11 pitch at bat his last time up. Flew out to center field. Very deep out to center field, in fact, on the warning track. Seager 1 ribby shy of 40 on the year. And here 3-1. Alex Smith in front of the track. 1 out. Well, Mike, this was in between innings in the dugout for James Paxton.
Well, it's something that I'd seen earlier in the game. A couple of innings ago, he had his arm wrapped in a towel, which isn't unusual. You'll see pitchers do that all the time. And he was talking to Mel, but kind of moving his arm around like he's moving it around right there. And Mentioned that Bradford was up in the bullpen, which is unusual, so maybe just a little bit uncomfortable right now.
Span drops it down. Duffy picks, throws, not in time. Very close at first base, and Span is able to beat it out.
Denard with a couple of hits yesterday. Excellent bunt. Duffy doing everything that he possibly can. He beats it by about a half a step.
Now, so Eovaldi has given up 2 hits in this game. The home run by Cruz and the bunt base hit by Span. That's been it. Foul over by third. 1-1 to Healy. I have to think that this would probably be the final inning for Eovaldi, don't you think, Mike? 86 pitches now, matches his last time out.
Yeah, we figured that he would be probably somewhere between 90, 95 pitches.
Say this.
Nothing wrong with his stuff today.
There's not been a diminishing velocity.
No, nothing wrong with his stuff today.
Healy behind 1-2.
But that being said, nobody getting loose in the Rays pen.
Ground ball broke his bat window. The flip. Arroyo to first. Double play. Now he faces the minimum yet again every inning but one. To the game. C.J. Cron, Mike, is 15.
A couple of home runs in the series for Cron. This one going the opposite way. Solo home run that ended up giving the Rays the lead 2-1.
Rob Refsnyder leads it off for Tampa Bay.
It's good to see James back out there. They will keep a close eye on him. He's a little bit uncomfortable.
0-2. Last few pitches up. 2-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. 7 strikeouts now for Paxton. Nice way to start off the bottom of the 5th. Well, this Saturday, step up to the plate and help fight hunger. Help the lives of boys and girls who don't get enough to eat by donating cash or non-perishables before the Mariners host the Red Sox at 5:15. If you can't make it to the game, make a difference by texting HIT HUNGER to 41444. Northwest Harvest, 97.3 Cairo FM, and the Mariners thank you for your support. Special start time, if you saw that, 5:15 on Saturday. Into left field for a base hit. Alex Smith. Now 8 for 13 in the series against the Mariners.
And he has good speed, so team will have to try to keep him close. It's a pretty good pitch. Down and away, breaking ball, stays on it. What a series.
Strike 1 to Joey Wendell. I mentioned earlier that for Paxton, his first career start came back in September of 13 against Tampa Bay. And if you remember the story, unfortunately, very sadly, in fact, Paxton's grandfather passed away right after his major league debut. And it was in those following days where James went back home. There goes Smith to the backstop. Smith slides in. That ball gets wedged between the padding. Smith gets his 12th stolen base of the season. 2 balls and a strike. And Paxton, as you would understand, went back home to be with his family and loved ones, attend the service for his grandfather before then rejoining the team. And one of the really interesting stories that came out of that for Paxton was, of course, he had to keep his arm loose. He had to stay in shape, and it was his father who, on a rainy day in British Columbia, got a glove and caught a bullpen session for James Paxton. And I don't think there was much catcher's gear.
That is amazing.
I don't think it's happened since. But he lived to talk about it. I mean, Mike, you played in the big leagues. If right now I gave you a glove with no additional protective gear and I said, go catch a bullpen session for Paxton, I'm running the other way.
My son is 21 and I wouldn't catch him. I stopped catching him a few years ago. So James is absolutely not.
Isn't that incredible?
Yes.
I mean, at the least you'd say you're not throwing your curveball.
What about the 98?
Well, I don't want the 98 either, but you know what my glove would do if I saw the curveball coming and then where the curveball would end up.
Yeah, that would not go well for you. That's amazing.
Strike 3 called. Another strikeout for James Paxton. Make that number 8.
And a good fastball at 96. Right on the outside corner. Mike helping him out a little bit.
Two out, Smith in scoring position for Crone. You know, there's a story of a certain Mariners position player who during spring training said that, this was spring training's past, said that he felt like he could catch a little bit. They gave him a glove. First pitch comes in a little bit high, and all of a sudden that glove and his arm ends up behind his neck because you have no idea what kind of velocity that will bring your hand back until you live through it. It's Gamble in right field today. Bend diving catch. What a way to end the fifth. Superman in right field.
Supermo in the concentration. He knows that the mound is getting close.
Up the ramp.
Right. James likes it. Covers a lot of ground to get there.
And here has been Gamble. Valdi working into the sixth inning. Only blemish, the home run by Cruz on the bunt base hit off the bat of Denard Span. Gamble behind 1-2.
Chaz Rowe getting loose in the pen for the Rays.
Fresh off his first career big league save. The 1-2 outside. There's Rowe. Line into right field for a base hit. Gamble, who had the terrific catch, now puts on the brakes. And he leads things off with a single. Now we take a look at our CenturyLink What's Next. Wade LeBlanc up on the mound tomorrow to begin the homestand. Andrew Heaney, who has just been pitching about as good as almost anybody in the American League since the start of May, making his 11th start. We are on the air at 6:30. First to 3 against the Angels.
Good pitching matchup, an important series for the Mariners.
Leadoff man aboard. Gamble. Here is Mike Zunino.
At the start of today, the Angels are 3.5 back.
They've been hot. Safe at first base.
Quick move.
Angels have won 6 in a row. We'll go back and look at the throw to first. Mike behind 0-2. Now Zunino with 9 home runs, representing the tying run at the plate. Ramos to throw to first. Gamble safe again. Just off the plate.
Next pitch will be 100 for him.
Rivaldi, his 3rd start today since coming off of his 2nd Tommy John.
Nice job by Mike to lay off a couple of breaking balls out of the strike zone. The last fastball he saw was 98 miles an hour.
The 3-2. And another at 98. Now Kevin Cash has his bullpen ready. Another throw to first. Keeping an eye on Gamble. Been with 4 steals and 5 tries. High out to left. Zunino, a blast to the wall. Tied game. Number 10 on the season for the Mariners catcher, and we are even at 3.
Mike having the ability to lay off of a couple of breaking balls out of the strike zone, gets him to the full count, fouls off another fastball at 98. And here it is, 88 miles an hour, just a little backup slider, not much bite to it at all, and it's a mistake that Mike makes him pay for.
And that knocks Nathan Eovaldi out of the game. We've got a pitching change. Mariners and the Rays tied at 3. sixth. Nathan Eovaldi had some pretty electric stuff, Mike, but he is done after 5+.
4 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned. Didn't walk anybody. 3 strikeouts, 102 pitches. And yes, he was electric. But the Mariners able to hit a couple of home runs. Chaz Rowe will take over 30 appearances for him. A 3.42 ERA, 29 strikeouts, and 23 2/3. Opponents hitting just .214 against him. Fastball, slider, his average fastball 93 miles an hour.
Gordon puts the first pitch in play for round number 1. I'll join the Mariners at Safeco Field on Friday. They'll face the Red Sox at 7:10. Then be sure to stick around after the game. Enjoy the first fireworks show of the summer, presented by Move in 92.5 and T-Mobile. Great tickets still remain. You can go to mariners.com to pick up yours. Mariners get back home tomorrow to start a 3-game series against the Angels before the Red Sox come to town. Here is Segura. Bites it off. 0-2. Now Chaz Rowe, who is a former first-round draft pick way back in 2005 by the Rockies, yesterday recorded his first career major league save. Made his big league debut back in 2013 with the Diamondbacks. Made 131 appearances before picking up his first save. He was thinking that was strike 3. You can see why.
What did you say yesterday, Aaron, with Segura? What's taking so long?
That's now we're in the same boat today now, aren't we?
Yeah.
0 for 2 as we play in the 6th.
He's due for a hit.
Segura has just simply been one of the most productive hitters in the majors. Entered today batting .340, leading the majors in multi-hit games.
Second in batting average.
Into right, Johnny Field lays out, makes the catch. The Rays have had some good defense. Now number 2.
Thought he had a chance to pick up a base hit. Field, as the ball is slicing away from him.
Isn't it funny, Mike? We've talked from time to time about whether or not there will ever be another 400 hitter, and it just seems as though Jean Segura is getting a hit almost every time he's inside the box, and he's hitting in the neighborhood of 340.
Right.
I mean, how many more hits you'd have
not
to
only
get?
that, it seems that he's getting 2 hits every day.
Right. How many more hits do you have to get to that elusive 400 mark that seems just absolutely impossible these days?
We showed the numbers at the start of the game, and I'm hitting well over 350 in May. Same here in June.
Now Segura hit .382 last month. He's hitting .364 this month entering today. 1-2 on Haniger. Off the hands. Two outs, nobody on. Zunino a 2-run homer earlier this inning. The 1-2. Stays fair to Duffy at third base. Long throw and a good stretch by Bowers to end the inning. Brand new ball game though. Zunino going deep for the 10th time. We are tied. Has tied this game at 3 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Nominate your favorite plays of the week by tweeting us using the hashtag RootFanFave. Watch the Mariners pregame show every Sunday to find out your fan favorite plays of the week. Plus, each month, one lucky fan will win a Coors Light Yeti cooler just for participating. For official rules, visit rootsports.com. Matt Duffy pops the first pitch. Gordon wants it, and the Mariners' second baseman puts it away. 1 pitch and 1 out to begin the bottom of the 6th inning.
James in good shape with his pitch count to 71 pitches. One of those things, Aaron, where you're pitching against a club that is aggressive and you never know how that's going to work. It helped him on the home run from Crone. It was a first pitch fastball that he hit out of the ballpark, but he's also had some quick outs.
Good example from Duffy to begin this inning. First pitch to Wilson Ramos. Barely missing ball 1. Ramos 0 for 2, a couple of ground ball outs. He has started to cool down a little bit after a blistering hot start. Ground ball foul over to Seager. Paxton ahead 1-2. Mariners entering today tied for first, tied with the Astros, who won last night. They wrap up their series today in Arlington. 2-2.
Alvarado getting loose.
Gamble breaking on it. Ben diving again and making another spectacular catch. Ben Gamble busy in right field. And boy, it's been good to have him out in right field today.
Line drive. I thought it was going to be a base hit. But covering some ground again. That ball slicing away from him. So many outfielders, when they dive to make a catch, they do it just the one-hand bend. Typically, if it's possible, he will use two hands.
Meanwhile, Mitch Haniger, a fine defender who's normally out in right field, is in center and is saying, I haven't had anything hit my way all day. Mariner's able to give Heredia a day off today, and Haniger versatile enough to be able to shift from right field to center field. James falls behind Bowers 2-1. Full count. I believe the first 3-ball count of the day for Paxton.
Still has a good fastball, 96 miles an hour, 83 pitches for him.
The payoff from Paxton. Off the mound, taken by Segura. James Paxton retires his side in order. 6 innings in the books. We're tied at 3. RBI Baseball 18. This game delivers an all-new franchise mode and much more. RBI Baseball 18 is available now at RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone. Now, the famed red chair inside the Ted Williams Museum here at Tropicana Field. Hall of Famer once going deep all the way out to right field at Fenway Park, hitting that chair. Here's Jose Alvarado on a pitch in the 7th.
26 appearances, a 2.73 ERA. He has pitched well. The Mariners have seen him a number of times. His fastball on average 97 miles an hour, slider and curveball to go with it.
Nelly ahead 2-0.
shown the red chair a couple of times today. Have you ever had the opportunity to stand at home plate and look out to right field to where that chair used to be?
I have done the other way around.
Oh,
I have
really?
sat in the chair and looked at home plate.
It's pretty far either way. It is amazing that somebody can hit a baseball that far. Nelson takes the walk.
Go ahead, run aboard. The Seattle connection to that. Brett Hutchinson gave that home run up. Seattle's own. Here's Kyle Seager. Now Seager has twice flown out to pretty deep center field.
Malik Smith in center, shading towards left center.
5 straight pitches that have missed will bring a trip to the mound. Kyle Snyder, the pitching coach, along with Wilson Ramos, the catcher. The Mariners tying it up in the 6th with a 2-run home run by Zunino, a chance to take the lead in the 7th.
Now you'd really like to see the Mariners win this ball game today, wrap things up, have a winning road trip, win another series, because it is going to be a tough homestand with the Angels coming into town and then the Red Sox after that.
And then New York, Boston, Baltimore on the road.
So some really good baseball over the next couple of weeks.
Mariners right now 3-2 on the trip. They split the series in Houston 1 game apiece. Won the first 2 games of this series before falling yesterday. First pitch to Seager. I think the second pitch is 0-2-0. Alvarado yet to throw a strike.
And it's really not close.
And that 1-pitch ball 4 to Cruz that was right at the knees, but other than that,
well, it's rare to see a major league pitcher, that fastball is 97 miles an hour, but to spike it out in front of home plate. Typically you don't expect them to bounce a fastball.
.3-0. Nice cheer from the crowd for strike 1. Out to right. Seager way deep right field. Mariners have the lead. Wow. That was blasted. Number 12 for Kyle Seager, and the Mariners are on top 5-3.
Did that hit the back wall?
Yes, it did.
It cleared everything. RBIs 40 and 41 for Kyle Seager. His 8th career home run here at the Trop. We were talking about it earlier. We needed Kyle to get an RBI. He picks up 2 right here, turns on a fastball. That fastball is above the belt, right at the top of the strike zone, and he's able to get the barrel to it.
Let's see point of impact here, Mike. Oh, was that in the seat? Oh,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah, a couple of rows from the top.
Sorry, I misled you there, Mike.
That's okay.
In my heart, it was against the back of the wall. I think it still counts. Well, no. Now, wait a second. It did hit the seats, all right. Not sure if it bounced back. The 0-1. I'm still willing it to be on the wall. Now Seager, now the 3rd Mariner this season with 40 runs batted, and the only team who can boast 3 with 40 RBIs. 40 homers would be something.
You may get there. The Mariners will be playing baseball here in a couple of years, Aaron, and by then you can tell everybody how it hit the back wall.
I remember when Seager gave a go-ahead home run off the back of the wall. That's exactly right.
3 home runs for the Mariners. Nelson Cruz, Mike Zunino, a 2-run home run to tie it. Now Kyle Seager, the 2-run home run to put him ahead.
How about that? Span swings and misses. And completes the strikeout. Now number 1. Now tomorrow the homestand begins against the Angels. 1st to 3. We are on the air at 6:30 with LeBlanc, who's pitched so very well for the Mariners, making his 8th start, an ERA just south of 3. Andrew Heaney has been spectacular recently as well for the Angels. A 3.12 earned run average. He had a 1-hitter not long ago. Should be a good one from Safeco Field. We hope to see you there.
Well, thinking of the home run from Kyle, it's amazing what small adjustments that these guys make and trying to be more productive. And for Kyle, I asked him, it was a couple of years ago, and Kyle has hit a lot of home runs, left on left home runs, more than anybody over the last few years. And I was talking to him about it, and as simple as I asked him, I said, what was the difference? He said, I just opened up a little bit more, get a better look at it, and it's easy to turn on the fastball that way, which he just did. You saw that, but just a little bit more than he normally would against a right-hander.
Now, would a right-hander do something similar against a right-handed pitcher, or is that only a left-on-left thing?
No, I think it would probably be, you would see some guys that maybe would do that. I think it's a little bit, probably see it maybe a little bit more often with the left-handers, just because they don't see lefties as much as they're going to see the right-handers. Right-handed hitters will see more right-handed pitchers than left-handed. So, but I thought it was a pretty simple thing, but it's made a difference for him.
One out, 2 runs in. Healy behind the count, 1-2. That bounces in again. This time an off-speed pitch. That, by the way, was the first home run Alvarado's given up this season. Aside from Diego Castillo, who just was called up, he made his 2nd appearance. We saw that yesterday. Alvarado was the only pitcher for the Rays who had not given up a home run until just a moment ago. Healy swings and misses for out number 2. Back-to-back strikeouts. Well, fans, be sure to mark your calendars for the annual auction on June 14th. Bid on exciting items like Kyle Seager and Nelson Cruz autographed memorabilia. All proceeds benefiting Mariners Care. Two outs for Ben Gamble. Gamble's put on a show in right field, has also singled and scored. Brushes him back, ball 1. Arroyo, the second baseman, fields it cleanly for out number 3. Now Kyle Seager, 2-run blast, his 12th this year, has given the Mariners the lead. Look once again inside the Ted Williams Museum here inside Tropicana Field. Mariners are leading 5-3 as we open up the bottom of the 7th. We'll go back to the Ford Sports Desk. Check in with Bill and Angie. All right, Bill, Angie, thank you. Now some changes behind Paxton. Guillermo Heredia off the bench. He is in center field. Ben Gamble is out of this game, and in right field in his place is Mitch Haniger, who began in center. First pitch strike to Arroyo.
Ryan Cook and James Pazos getting loose in the pen for the Mariners. It appears that Sergio Romo is getting loose for the Rays.
But he's a starter. An opener.
An opener.
Sometimes he pitches at the beginning, sometimes near the end. That was right where Paxton wanted it, but 1-2.
Another good fastball, 96, right on the inside corner.
Paxton's 1-2. D. Gordon, the backhand, and a sling to first. 1 out. Now the Mariners celebrate young players all over the Pacific Northwest with Youth Baseball Day on Sunday, June 17th. All kids 14 and under will receive Mariners Eye Black stickers thanks to Aquafina. Get tickets for the whole family at mariners.com. One up, one down for Johnny Field. First pitch curveball strike. Now, meanwhile, in Arlington, George Springer has hit a leadoff home run for the Astros. Mariners tied with Houston for the top spot of the division. Mariners leading here in the bottom of the 7th.
That is at least his 5th.
Seems like nobody in the American League does that better than Springer. You can see the American League West standings. Mariners and the Astros neck and neck. Angels just 3.5 back. Anaheim has won 6 straight. Pazos warmed and ready to go.
Now they're ready.
Down the right field line, and Romo almost makes the catch. Scott's Ball Club 3-2 on this trip, 5-1 against the Rays this season. Today, the final meeting between these two teams. He got him. 9 strikeouts for Paxton. Curveball finishes off Johnny Field.
Basically has just gone to the fastball curveball combination. Haven't seen too many sliders from him today. Knuckle curveball down out of the strike zone, gets him to chase it. And he still has a good fastball. 96 pitches, but he's hit 97 here in this inning.
2 outs facing Rob Refsnyder. One. There's 97 again. One and two.
A couple of late swings on the fastball.
Pitch number 100, sails high. Now Paxton a chance for his 5th double-digit strikeout effort this year. It's 2-2. Off the Zunino or the umpire. Vescuccioni. Mike helping him out. Giving the thumbs up.
See how quickly Mike turned around, trying to help him out.
Paxton strikes out Refsnyder. Only 3 pitchers in the game will have more double-digit strikeout efforts. He punches out Refsnyder. 10 strikeouts over 7 fine innings once again for James Paxton. Going to the top of the 8th inning. Well, tune in every Sunday for a new episode of Mariners All Access. Get exclusive player interviews, behind-the-scenes footage, and Mariners stories you simply can't find anywhere else. If you missed today's episode, tune in for re-airs throughout the week on Root Sports. For your local programming schedule, visit rootsports.com. New pitcher is Sergio Romo.
Average fastball this year, 85 miles an hour. 26 appearances, high ERA, just under 6. Opponent's hitting .272, he's given up 4 home runs. So 85 with the fastball. Majority of the time he will throw his slider and misses with that slider down. Also has a changeup.
And by the way, I misspoke about Paxton with that strikeout. Now 10 on the day. There's only one man in the majors that has more double-digit strikeout performances this year. Zunino foul ball, 2-1. And that is the guy who will more than likely start for the National League in the All-Star game in D.C. in his home ballpark, Max Scherzer. Scherzer has 10 starts. Excuse me, has 9 starts of at least 10 strikeouts, which is remarkable.
Mike with a home run in the 6th. 378 feet, his 10th home run.
That's what tied it up. Romo wanted the strike call on that, full count. Payoff to Zunino. Grazes it foul, back to the glove of Ramos.
We're talking about hitters making adjustments, and Mike, yesterday we know about the big leg kick. You can see how high his knee comes up off the ground, and something that he was talking to Edgar about during batting practice, just the timing of it wasn't quite there. And then you see this right here, just kind of picks his foot up and glides with a couple of strikes and hits the home run earlier in the ballgame. He also picked up a base hit yesterday to right field with a couple of strikes, doing the same thing. So making an adjustment, a little different 2-strike approach for him. Looking forward to talking to him about it.
And that'll be interesting. One out, nobody on for D. Gordon. One of the ironic things about that still somewhat new stance from Mike that we saw him adopt last year, and one of the guys that he really studied for that was Evan Longoria, somebody who was franchise player for the Rays for so many years. Very upright stance. Brett Snyder in left field comes right to him, 2 outs.
One of the guys that can really relate to it and have the conversation with him is Edgar Martinez, the same. More upright, bigger leg kick. But they were having an interesting conversation about it a couple of days ago and making some adjustments.
Bowers circling over to it. The first baseman puts the squeeze on for out number 3, and a very quick top of the 8th for Sergio Romo as we go to the bottom half. 5-3 Mariners. Marco Gonzalez talking things over. We look at the final line for James today.
7 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. They were earned. He gave up the 1 solo home run. Didn't walk anybody. 10 strikeouts again. 103 pitches. 75 of them for strikes.
And our Beacon Plumbing call to the pen. James Pazos is on to work for the Mariners.
24 appearances, a 1.25 ERA, 21 strikeouts over just the 1 walk. Opponents hitting .241 against James. Fastball in the mid-90s with a slider. Carlos Gomez is going to pinch hit. He will hit for Smith.
Paxton, this is the second time this year, 10 strikeouts without issuing a walk. And hardly had a 3-ball count at all.
Well, and speaking of not walking people, James Pazos walked a batter in his first appearance of the year and has not walked anybody since.
He must be really regretting that. The 1-1 rips through 96, 1 and 2. Almost got him. Now Gomez is quite the vocal guy out there. In fact, there was a rumor that Carlos Gomez counted his steps when running the bases, and that was heard by infielders all around the game. I asked Carlos about that. He said he just is a heavy grunter when he runs.
Good answer.
Cuts through that fastball to 95. That's way to start the bottom of the 8th for James Pazos.
Chases 3 fastballs up out of the strike zone at 96.
I'll get the bat eventually. 1 out here is Joey Wendell. Swinging through a high fastball again.
Yeah, James has a good fastball at 96 today.
Rattled foul. Paxton, by the way, ended up retiring the final 8 batters that he faced in this game after that hiccup in the 4th. A home run by Crone, who stands on deck. Still 0-2. Slider just a bit high.
It's the first breaking ball for him. He wanted it off the plate away.
The 1-2. Goes back to it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mariners, this one has been a story of the home run ball. Cruz, Zunino, and Seager. Hoping to get those 5 runs on the board. Up the middle, off the mound, into center. Wendell, who did not start this game, gets a 1-out single in the 8th inning. Tying run coming to the plate. He's got service. We'll call on Colomé with C.J. Cron coming to the dish. We've got a pitching change. Your way, presented by Alaska Airlines. A win today would mark a series win in 4 games here at the Trop. Mariners coming back home to begin a homestand with the Angels tomorrow night. Alex Colomé pitching for the 3rd time in this series.
His average fastball at 95 miles an hour. Slider to go with it. It'll be his 30th appearance. 27 innings, he has 28 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .259 against him.
Well, for whatever reason, it's been a struggle his last 2 times out here in this ballpark against his former team. 1 inning, 2 runs, a third of an inning, 1 run, including a homer. All right, there, ball 1 to Cron, though. Cron certainly a double play candidate. He's bounced to 3 of them in his last 4 games against the Mariners. Wendell at first. Strike there, 1-1. Cron, the tying run at the plate. One out, one on for the 2-1 pitch. Way outside.
Yeah, just trying to keep everything away from him. Just the 1 slider so far.
Cron now with 15 home runs this year. Ball 4. Go ahead run at first. Duffy coming to the plate. excuse me, the tying run at first base. The go-ahead Duffy coming to the plate.
Tough hitter. Came into the game hitting .319 on the year.
He doubled and scored back in the fourth. Now the corner, ball one. Ground ball to Healy. Pivots. Segura. Nobody's at first base. Crone cut down. There's out number 2. Wendell is in at third base. Fielder's choice for Duffy.
Colomé a little bit late getting off the mound. Ball is hit right at Healy, and a strong throw to Segura. You can see how late he is. Takes off, and I think he thought that was going to be towards the second baseman.
And steps Wilson Ramos. Two outs, runners on the corners. Oh, and 1. This, by the way, is the 5th straight appearance for Colomé against his former team. He's made 7 appearances, including today, for the Mariners, and 7 have been versus, excuse me, 5 of them have been against the Rays. Look at the last homestand, and then 3 times here at the Trop.
Well, after today, you won't have to worry about it anymore.
Last time these 2 teams meet this year. The 1-1 makes it 1-2. Duffy is the tying run at first base. Colomé's 1-2. Going outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wendell got aboard with a single. He's at third base. Duffy, the fielder's choice, at first. Now the 2-2. And to center. Heredia has taken over there, has to play it on a hop. Wendell scores. It's a 1-run game.
Well, he's going to get a pitch right on the outside corner, and a solid line drive right back up the middle. Mel Stottlemyre making a trip out to the mound. Wilson Ramos now has 30 RBIs on the year. Jake Bowers, the rookie, will step in.
He drove in his first run of his young big league career back in the fourth on a run scoring double. Tying run in scoring position, that's Matt Duffy. Ramos the man at first. First pitch to Bowers. Ball one. Same spot. Mel picking up the phone. Strike at the knees, 2-1. Looks like Jason Bradford beginning to move around.
Yep.
Two on, two out. Colomade's 2-1. D. Gordon off to his right a couple of steps. And the inning is over. The Rays grab a run, but they strand two, and the Mariners still hold it on to a 5-4 lead. Link connecting you to the power of the digital world. By BNSF, sponsor of the BNSF Blast. By Jack in the Box, try the new $4.99 Jack Spicy Chicken Club Combo with toasted sourdough, new from Jack in the Box. And by Money Tree, proud to make a donation to Mariners Care for every Mariners win. Felix Hernandez autographed baseball inside the St. Petersburg Museum of History, where they have over 5,000 signed baseballs. We are in the ninth. Ryan Stanek, flamethrower, pitching for the Rays.
Average fastball 98 miles an hour. Slider split, 12 appearances, a 3.38 ERA, 17 strikeouts and 13 in the third. Opponents hitting just 149 against him.
At a field, he does not go. Now Gomez and the game in right field. Well, Johnny Field has moved from right to center. Haniger behind.
As you would guess, Edwin Diaz getting loose in the pen for the Mariners.
Now the Rays getting a run at the bottom of the 8th inning to pull within 1. Tied him up. There's that number 1.
We're seeing 99 miles an hour. Looks like a pretty good split. Bottom drops out of it.
One out for Nelly, who scored a couple of runs in this one today. A home run, a walk, and a run scored. Now Stanek, former 3rd-round draft pick by the Mariners out of high school, but went on to pitch at the University of Arkansas and became a 1st-rounder by the Rays. Strike 1. That spots the corner but ruled a ball. I mean, if you were the home plate umpire, do not blink. 1-2.
We were talking about velocity earlier in the game. There's plenty of it in there now. Edwin Diaz getting loose and Stanek rushing it up there at 99.
Well, you consider Eovaldi, Alvarado, and Stanek for the Rays. What percentage of fastballs thrown today by those 3 have been?
98.
Yeah, 96 plus, 97 plus.
Yeah.
The 2-2 to Duffy. He gobbles it up. 2 outs.
We'll bring up Kyle Seager. Kyle with a home run, a 2-run home run to give the Mariners a lead his last time up. That home run 407 feet.
Home runs, 41 runs driven in now for Seager this year. Triple digits now for Stanek. The 1-0. Three home runs today for the Mariners. Dead red at 99. Lined into right field for a base hit over the shift. Seager's second hit today. It's a 2-out single.
Off speed pitch. Maybe the slider, not a lot of break to it. 88 miles an hour.
Well, Seager aboard for Denard Span. Mariners would love to give Diaz just an extra run. Just about half the saves for Diaz this year, who is leading the majors. Half of them coming with just a one-run lead. Which, when you consider the Mariners have played nearly 30 one-run games, that makes perfect sense.
I think also the fact that they've won a lot of them. Have to give Diaz a lot of credit. Not much room.
Now, most closers would not have nearly his success rate. Mariners are 20-9 in one-run games this year. Most wins in the majors. Fan fouls it back. 99 elevated.
And a lot of 99s. We've seen 100 once.
The 1-2 off the plate.
Another split.
Now the Mariners are trying to finish this road trip 4-2. And win today, they would have won 8 of 10 and 12 of 16. Time called. Full count to Span. Ryan Healy standing on deck. Healy hoping for a chance here in the 9th inning.
We hope the Span will get a fastball to hit right here.
The 3-2. He does.
99 right in the middle of the plate.
Another 3-2. Up high, ball 4.
This will be the first time this afternoon that the Mariners have had a runner in scoring position. All the scoring on the home run. Ryan looking for his first hit. Good time for it.
First pitch to Healy. The only hit for Healy against Stanek, a home run. Healy with 9 homers this year. Seager at second, Span at first. That's the second time we are seeing Stanek in this series. He, of course, was the opener in game 1 against the Mariners. And he really had to labor. 30 pitches, a couple of walks, only 1 hit. to go an inning scoreless, and he ended up stranding the bases loaded.
I don't think he's trying to spot his fastball. He is just turning it loose.
Shallow center. Wendell, the shortstop, Watson calling for it. He's got it. That ends the top of the ninth. The Mariners will go to the bottom of the ninth inning, calling on Edwin Diaz to lock down a 1-run win. Out of the bottom of the ninth, 5-4. Mariners have the lead, and they call on Edwin Diaz. We'll take a look at our CenturyLink What's Next tomorrow. We're on the air at 6:30. Wade LeBlanc and Andrew Heaney both pitching very well recently. Looking forward to that one. Game 1 against the Angels. Here's Edwin Diaz.
33 appearances on the year, a 2.73 ERA. Opponents hitting just 152. 54 strikeouts in the 33 innings that he has worked. Upper 90s with the fastball and a slider.
Ruled ball 1 to Arroyo. Off the hands, a little flare. D sprinting back. 1 out.
Fastball that's going to jam him. A little soft pop up.
We're talking about 1-run saves for Edwin. 22 saves on the campaign. 14 have come with 1 run as his margin. Now back 0-1. Really, and that's not even the right way to say it. The margin is not 1 run. You give up that run, it is a blown save. Good. 0-2. 99.
Good fastball today. Slider off the plate.
In play. Segura can't hold on. Tie and run aboard.
Yeah, he wanted to throw that slider off the plate away, and it ended up on the inner half of the plate at 0-2. Mike set up away. He wants the ball down.
One out, 1 on for Rob Refsnyder. Segura picks it up, flips to D, and they're going to call this off.
Yeah, they are. It's a good try.
Yep. He got 1 out of it. No argument from the Mariners. Can't essentially set up a chance for the double play.
Right. It'll be a line out to the shortstop. Low line drive. Gene in good shape. I like what he was trying to do. They called it right away.
2 outs for Carlos Gomez. Oh, 1-1.
Missed with the slider again. Gomez in his first at bat. Pazos stayed at the top of the strike zone to get the strikeout. Swinging through 3 fastballs up there.
Looking down to first base. Count was 2-1. The 2-1. 2-2. 98.
With the fastball again.
The 2-2. Tying run for the Rays at first. Gomez with enough power at the plate, the winning run. Already has 1 walk-off home run this year. The 2-2. A flare. D having a cover. Haniger coming in. Can't make the catch. Field is to third. They're waving him home. Here's the throw. It's coming to the plate. Plenty of time. This game is over. Not even close.
What an ending.
Well, 2 of the Mariners wins in this series with an out at second and the other an out at home. And the Mariners win it 5-4 to improve to 21-9 in 1-run games.
Haniger was playing deep because they wanted to stay away from the double. Then he had a hard time picking the ball up. That's the reason why they sent him home, and he is out by 15 feet. Strong throw by Haniger to end this ball game.
You know, it wasn't as if he was trying to do this, but it was essentially a deke by Haniger in right field. Is the effect
It definitely
of it.
was not trying.
He was not trying to.
No, I completely understand, and I agree with you on that. And that's the reason why the third base coach ended up going and sending him late because of that. He wasn't sure that Mitch was going to be able to pick the ball up in time, and just a perfect strike to home plate.
4-2 on the road trip, Mike, and for the time being, a half game
Another
lead
series
over the
win.
Astros. That's right. Mariners win it 5-4. Mariners post game presented by Alaska Airlines begins right now. Bill, Angie, it's all yours.